Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the interpretation of the Dasha results. So, whenever we see a promise in a given chart, we think that during the time of the Dashas of those planets, we should be able to get some good results or the desired results. But there are times when our interpretation may not be that correct. The reason is that we miss out on some technical points, and there are also times when we think that a particular dasha may not be very rewarding for us, but it ends up giving us a lot many things. So here again, we miss out on the technical points. So what are those points and how to interpret the dasha in an easy way? I will be talking about those things through my video. So stay connected till the end of this video, because I'm going to share with you some very important points regarding the Dasha system. So, friends, if we talk about our classic text, Brihad Prashar Hora Shastra, in that it is very clearly mentioned that there could be various Dasha systems which could be applied for the interpretation of a given Dasha. And for the application of those Dasha systems, we have to have a particular placement of planets, and only for those particular horoscopes a particular dasha system has to be applied. But here we want to apply a universal dasha system for all the charts, where we do not have to think about the placements of the planets. So that particular dasha system, which is universal, is the Vimshotri dasha system, because it does not take into account any particular placement of planet, and it can be applied for any given chart. It is universally used and it gives us very good results. But we must know the technical part of the Vimshotri Dasha system. We will be discussing them through this video. We are not going to talk about the transits in this video, and we are not going to talk about the Ashtagvarga charts, which are also a prerequisite for the Vimshotri Dasha system. But whatever things I am going to share with you are sufficient to understand or interpret the results of the given Dasha period. So friends, let's talk about the Vimshotri Dasha now. So this Dasha is based upon the nakshatra lord of your moon sign. So at the time of your birth, whatever nakshatra was your moon in will be the first dasha period for you. And the first dasha is the Janam dasha. It is the most important dasha period for each one of us, because that is the period when we are developing. It is the period of formation of the native. And whatever dasha we get first also defines our life's journey. I mean to say that suppose you get the dasha of a planet like Venus, it means your life's journey is going to be very comfortable, or things which are revolving around Venus. We all know that Venus takes care of our beauty, of our comforts, of our luxuries, and of our finances. So your entire life will revolve around those things, the dasha of the planet that you get first. And the houses that are activated at your time of birth will also define your life path. For example, for a person with Sagittarius ascendant, you get the dasha of Venus first. It means that your entire life revolves around the significations of Venus and also the houses of Venus. In the Sagittarius ascendant, in this example, Venus rules your 11th house and the 6th house. So it means the things related to the 6th house, that is efforts, difficulties, will be very important for this person, and the person will have to go through these hassles. And the 11th house is the house of your gains, the house of your wish fulfillments. So the person will also have plenty of gains in his life, and the person will have good growth, because 6th and 11th houses are the houses of growth. Also, the results will be exhibited through the placement of Venus in this example. Suppose Venus is placed in the Kendra houses, then you will get very good results of these houses throughout your life. But if Venus is not very well placed, then your efforts will be high and you will have to then uh, go through some difficult periods to achieve good results in life. So we talked about the initial dasha now. So as I told you, the first dasha chronological is the Janam Dasha. The second Dasha is also called as the Sampad Dasha. Sampad Dasha is bound to give us some good results, some rewards. It is the period of gains. It is the period of family formation. So when the person grows up, the person wants to look out for a job, the person wants to have his own family. So these things will happen in the period of your Sampad Dasha. So friends, sometimes the first dasha that you get can be of a very long period. So that means that during that long period, you are going to undergo many developments. First, you will grow up as a child, you will complete your schooling. Suppose you got the period of Venus, which is of 20 years, and Moon was in the initial degree of planet of its placement, and its nakshatra lord was Venus. So it means you will get the entire 20 years of the Venus dasha. In those 20 years, you will be able to complete your schooling, and you can also uh, start doing your college during this 20-year period. So it matters a lot for how long you are getting your Janam dasha. So in the second period, in the second dasha, the person will have gains, or it revolves around those things in your life. The third dasha is the Vipad dasha. Vipad dasha is all about the obstacles, the hardships. So when the person has his own family, he has to fight for his livelihood. He has to make sure that there should not be any adversity coming to his family. So the third dasha is always a difficult one for us. But if the planets are well placed, then we are able to fight against the hardship of the third dasha, that is the Vipad dasha. The fourth dasha is the shame dasha. That means it is a period of your well-being. It is a period that revolves around your well-being and comforts and domestic life. So it is by and large a positive period. Then the fifth dasha is the Pratyari dasha. So this dasha is a adverse dasha, because those people who are inimical towards you will get activated around this time. Then comes the seventh then comes the sixth dasha, that is the Siddha dasha. Siddha means achieving something, a period of accomplishments. So during this time, you will achieve a lot, you will accomplish a lot, many things. So it's also an important period for you and a favorable dasha for you. Then comes the seventh dasha, that is the Vad dasha. Vad means to destroy something. So as the name suggests, if the person has attained his desired age, then the person can also pass away in this dasha period. Or if the person has not attained his age and he is in his youth and this dasha has come early, then you can say that during this period the person will undergo some very important changes in his life, and these changes could be related to his well-being or related to the near and dear ones, or it could also mean some closure of some big work that he or she may be doing. So big closures or big changes happen during the Vad dasha. Then comes the eighth dasha, that is the Mitra dasha. It is always a favorable dasha and a supportive dasha. Then the ninth dasha is the Ati Mitra dasha, which means more supportive dasha. So usually people are not able to reach up till their eighth and ninth dashas, but those who reach will get good results in these dashas. So we talked about the kinds of dashas in the chronological order. Now we will try to understand what is the sequence of the dasha. So the dashas will start from the Ketu. Then comes the Venus dasha. Ketu, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury. This is the chronological sequence. So wherever your moon is, whichever planet's nakshatra your moon is in, from there the dasha system will start. Suppose your moon is in the Saturn nakshatra, so it means your first dasha will be of Saturn, then the next dasha will be of Mercury, then Ketu, then Venus, then Sun. So the sequence remains the same, but we have to see from where the sequence is starting. Then we have to talk about the period of these dashas. So the first dasha that I told you about, Ketu, is of 7 years. The second dasha of Venus is of 20 years. Then Sun dasha is of 6 years. Moon's dasha is of 10 years. Mars dasha is of 7 years. Then Rahu's dasha is of 18 years. Jupiter's dasha is of 16 years. And Saturn's dasha is of 19 years. And the Mercury dasha is of 17 years. So the years of the dashas will always be like this. After, now I will take an example. Let's take the example of a Kal Purush chart. That is, the first house is having the Aries sign itself. So we want to study the results of the dasha of Saturn. Let's say Saturn is placed in the 10th house in its own sign of Capricorn. So by the first glimpse, we will say that this dasha should be a good one because Saturn is forming a Shash Yoga. Shash Yoga means planet Saturn is sitting in Kendra in its own sign. So it is bound to deliver us some good results. But we have to keep in mind some other factors also before deciding on the results of the planet Saturn. We have to first of all see what is the Tara planet Saturn is in. Now, what is a Tara? So friends, when we saw that the moon is in a particular nakshatra, let's say moon is in the nakshatra of Ashwini, that is the first nakshatra. And let's say Saturn is in the nakshatra of Kritika, that is the third nakshatra. So it means from the moon's nakshatra, Saturn sits in the third nakshatra. So that is the third Tara. You can say Tara also. So the third Tara is not a favorable one. So if a planet is sitting in the third Tara, it means it is bound to give us some obstacles and difficulties during its tenure. So what are these Taras? Let's first talk about them so that we can proceed further. If a planet is in the moon's nakshatra, then we will say it is in the Janam Tara. If a planet is in the second nakshatra to moon, then we say it is in the Sampat Tara. So by first nakshatra, it can also be the 10th nakshatra or the 19th nakshatra. All you have to do is to divide it by 9 until you get the remainder, which is lesser than 9. So the second Tara could be your second nakshatra or your 11th nakshatra or your 20th nakshatra. The third Tara could be your third nakshatra or your 12th nakshatra or your 21st nakshatra. Similarly, the fourth Tara could be your fourth nakshatra or 13th nakshatra or 22nd nakshatra. So this sequence follows like this. So the first Tara is always the Janam Tara. It is a neutral Tara. So it depends what is the association of the Antardasha's planet, what is the Tara the Antardasha planet is sitting, and based upon that, the Janam Nakshatra, the Janam Tara will give its results. So the second Tara is the Sampat Tara. It is bound to give us some gains. The third Tara is the Vipat Tara. It is bound to give us some obstacles. The fourth Tara is the Shame Tara. It is going to give us some comforts and it is bound to deal with our domestic life. The fifth Tara is the Pratyari Tara and it is bound to give us some adversities or adverse circumstances. The sixth Tara is the Siddha Tara. So during this time, during this dashas, this planet's dasha, we will get some again inimical circumstances or people who are not very favorable towards us. So this is also not a good Tara to be in. Then comes the sixth Tara, which is called as the Siddha Tara. So the Siddha Tara is bound to give us achievements and accomplishments. If you have attained the desired age, then during this period, the person can also sit in samadhi or go deep into meditative practices. Then the seventh Tara is the Vadh Tara. So the person can have lots of destructions or lots of big turbulent changes that will happen during his Vadh Tara period. Then the eighth Tara is the Mitra Tara, and the ninth Tara is the Ati Mitra Tara. So these are all favorable Tara for a planet to be in. So as we were talking about this example, so then we will see what is the Tara lord of planet Saturn here. So we said that Saturn is sitting in the Kritika Nakshatra. It means it is sitting in the adverse Tara from your moon's Nakshatra. So it is third one. So it is bound to give us some obstacles during its Dasha period. So then we have to see if the Nakshatra Lord is the friend of planet Saturn. So here we took Sun as the Nakshatra Lord of Saturn. So is it the friend of Saturn or the enemy? So we all know that Sun and Saturn are arch enemies. So that means the Nakshatra Lord of Saturn is going to give the direction to Saturn to process its results. So Saturn will get its guidance through the Nakshatra Lord, that is Sun. Because they are enemies, so Saturn will definitely have some discomforts because of the enmity factor. Then you have to see where is planet Sun placed. If the planet Sun is placed in your good houses, Kendra houses, second house of wealth, 11th house of gains, or fifth or ninth houses of trines, then you can expect good results related to the 10th house. But if planet Sun is not placed well, if it is afflicted, or if it is in the 6th house, 8th house, or 12th house, then the prospects of the 10th house, to which Saturn is the controller of, will suffer under the nakshatra lordship of Sun. So you must pay attention to where the nakshatra lord is sitting, and that will give the direction to planet Saturn. Suppose in this example, Sun is sitting in the 4th house. So it means the 10th house of your career and the 11th house of your gains will get their direction from the 4th house. So you could be working with real estate companies, or you could be a school teacher, you could be a interior decorator, because these are the things that comes through the 4th house. Then you have to see what are the planets that are conjunct with Saturn. Are they benefic planets or are they malefic planets? If benefic planets are conjunct with Saturn, then Saturn will give very good results under its dasha. But if malefic planets are conjunct with it or they are aspecting planet Saturn, then Saturn will not be able to give good results. Then you have to see the placement of Saturn in the Navamsha chart. Is it very well placed? Is it in a very debilitated state? Then you have to decide the results. Because in the D1 chart, in your Rashi chart, the things are looking very promising. But there could be a chance that in the D9 chart, Saturn is not in a good shape. Then the results, although they are looking very promising, but the end part of the result will not be very promising here. It will not be good here if planet Saturn is in a bad condition in the D9 chart. After having seen this, you have to make the dasha chart of planet Saturn here. So we are going to study the results of the Saturn dasha. So you have to make the 10th house as your ascendant. So rotate the entire chart from 10th house and make it your ascendant. Then the entire chart will change. So then read it as a normal chart. The way you read a normal chart, read this chart like that. And then you will see certain placements of planets which are making a Raj Yoga, and certain placements of planets may not be making a good yoga. So they will all get activated during the Mahadasha of planet Saturn. Then you have to see what are the planets which are well placed and what are the planets which are in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses. These planets, their significations will suffer in the Mahadasha of Saturn. But now we all know that the Saturn's Mahadasha is a period of 19 years. So, how do we know that when these things will happen? For that, you have to keep coming down to the sub periods, that is the Antardasha, then the Pratyantar Dasha. So then you will continue to go down and deeper, and then you will be able to find out when that period is going to happen. Then you have to come to the Antardasha Lord. Suppose we take the Antardasha of Mercury here and say Mercury is sitting in the 6th house in its own sign in the Aries ascendant. So you have to see, is the Antardasha Lord friendly to planet Saturn or is it inimical? After having seen this, we will see what is their mutual repo in the chart. Are they making a connection? Are they indicating same thing through their house activation, or are they sitting in an inimical condition? That will change the entire meaning of the chart. So in this case, Saturn and Mercury are friends, we all know, and Saturn and Mercury are sitting 5-9 to each other. It means in the Antardasha, Mercury is going to give good results related to the growth of your work because it controls your 6th house of work, and 6th house is also about your growth. And it is making a connection with the Mahadasha Lord, that is Saturn. So it will give you good results in the Antardasha. Then you have to see the strength of the Mahadasha and Antardasha Lords in the D9 chart. So we saw that Saturn is well placed in this example. So let's say Mercury is also well placed in the D9 chart. Then we can expect some good results in this Antardasha. As I told you, you can make the Antardasha chart of planet Mercury the same way you made it for the Mahadasha Lord, that is Saturn. So wherever your planet Mercury is, we took in the example in the 6th house. So make the 6th house as your ascendant, and then the entire chart will rotate. Now you will see that there is a complete different picture. So it may be giving you a clue as to what you can expect during this Antardasha. Suppose this chart is also making some Raj Yogas, and the Saturn Mahadasha chart was also making some Raj Yogas. It means during this Antardasha period, something good is definitely going to happen. And if certain planets are ill placed in this Antardasha, as they were in the Saturn Mahadasha chart, then it makes sense to think that these karkas, these planets' significations will be a source of trouble for us during this sub period or Antardasha period of Mercury, because they are being depicted by both the charts. So this way, friends, you can keep going further and further into the Pratyantar Dasha, and you will be able to figure out during what time period the promises will be delivered to us. So this is how we can see and understand the Dasha results. Now I'm going to put my screen on the share mode, and I have put 3 examples for you to understand the same things which I'm explaining to you today. So let's see them through the examples. So as I told you about the Tara, now we will see the chart of our current Prime Minister, Shri Modi ji, Narendra Modi ji, who is running the Prime Ministership for the 2nd time. He was initially made the Prime Minister in the year 2014. So let's understand his Dasha results. So at that time, he was in the Moon Jupiter period. So friends, we also have to acknowledge that Moon is a planet which is a significator of the 4th house of masses. Moon is also about your state of mind, and Jupiter is the Antardasha Lord, and Jupiter is all about respect, position, and power. So it means that during these two planets, Mahadasha and Antardasha, the person will attain power through the benefit coming through masses, because their significations will also get activated during their dasha periods. So here the dasha is of Moon and Jupiter. Let's see their condition in the chart. So Moon is the ninth lord here, the trine lord, and it is sitting in the another trine and Kendra house, that is the first house, a very powerful house. So Moon is making a very good Raj Yoga with planet Mars also, and with planet Jupiter also, and with Saturn and Venus also, because these are all Kendra lords and trine lords. So Moon, many people will say that Moon is debilitated here, but no, Moon's debilitation is being cancelled by the presence of Mars in the first house. So Moon will behave like an exalted planet, and Moon is the Bhagya Lord, the Lord of the house of fortune. Now, the condition of Moon in the Navamsha chart is also looking good. It is sitting in the 11th house of gains. And now we will see the condition of the planet Jupiter, which is the Antardasha Lord. And we will also see the nakshatra of Moon. Moon is in the nakshatra of Saturn, which means the fourth house is becoming very powerful here. The third house is becoming very powerful here. And the nakshatra Lord is sitting in the 10th house, means something good is to be delivered during this period of Moon. Now we were talking about the Jupiter Antardasha period. So friends, Jupiter is also very benefic here. Being the second Lord, it is the house of gains, and being the fifth Lord, it is the house of power. It is sitting in the fourth house of masses and in the Kendra house. So it is making a Raj Yoga. Being the trine Lord sitting in the Kendra house, it makes a Raj Yoga. Now, Jupiter's nakshatra is of Mars. Again, the Mars is sitting in the first house. Means something related to him will be provided in the period of Jupiter, Antardasha period of Jupiter. So then we have to see, are the Mahadasha Lord and the Antardasha Lord making any combination, connection? Yes, they are sitting in Kendra to each other. Keep looking at my cursor. Moon is the sitting in the first house and Jupiter in the fourth house. So they are indeed making a very powerful connection. So this dasha is looking very promising. To make our thoughts doubly sure, we also have to see the sequence of the dasha. So as I was talking initially, so Moon is the sixth dasha in the sequence. So after his birth, Moon's dasha has arrived sixth in the sequence. So sixth dasha is always the period of accomplishments. So in this period, we can expect to get some good results. Then Moon is in the Janam Tara, which means Moon is neutral. And Jupiter is the Antardasha Lord, it is in the Vad Tara. So then, can we expect good results because Moon is in the Vad Tara? A question will come to our mind. As I told that the Vad Tara is not very good. But dear friends, Moon is in the favorable Tara and Jupiter is in the Vad Tara. But then the Vad Tara Lord is indeed making a connection with planet Moon. So it is going to influence planet Moon also. And it is sitting under very favorable influences. It is being aspected by the Lagna Lord. It is being aspected by the fourth Lord Saturn and the seventh Lord, that is the Kendra Lord Venus. So Jupiter, although it is in the Vad Tara, but it is in some very favorable influences. So it is having the ability to give some very good changes in the life of this person. That is why Jupiter did not give him adverse results. Then we can also make the Dasha chart of planet Moon and Jupiter. For Moon, we don't need to make because Moon is already in the ascendant only. Then we can make the Antardasha chart of planet Jupiter. So Jupiter sits in the fourth house. We will put the fourth house in the ascendant and then the entire chart will get rotated. So as you can see from the cursor. So if you look at this chart carefully, There are some good Raj Yogas being made by Saturn and Venus and Mars in this Jupiter Dasha chart. And Sun and Mercury are sitting in the 8th house. So Mercury is making a wonderful Viprit Raj Yoga, and Sun, the Lord of the 7th house, is making a connection with Mercury, which is again giving strength to the 8th house. So that shows some big change is about to come in this period of Jupiter Antardasha. So what was that change? So let me tell you that Modi ji has been the chief minister of Gujarat for 10 years, and the time in the year 2014 May, when he became the prime minister of India, he has to give up his seat of chief ministership. That was the big change that we can understand through the placement of Sun and Mercury in the 8th house during this time. And the other Raj Yogas are saying that he indeed got another very prestigious position of prime ministership during this Dasha. So this is how we can read the Dasha results. And we can also see the strength of these two planets, Moon and Jupiter, in the Navamsha chart. Both of them are sitting in a very favorable position. Let's take up another chart. This is the chart of a boy. If you look at this chart, he is running through the period of Rahu and Saturn. So Rahu and Saturn are making a strong connection here. And Rahu is going to work as per the dispositorship of its Saturn. So the dispositor is not in a good condition. It is in the Rahu Ketu axis. It is making a connection with Rahu, and it is with getting the aspect of retrograde Mars also. So Saturn is not well placed here, and that is the reason why this period did not give him good results. So the child flunked his 10th boards, and that happened because of the bad dasha that he was going through. Now let's understand this through the nakshatras also. So Rahu dasha is the second in the sequence. So it means it has to do with his growth period, and it should be positive for him. But then the Antardasha also makes a lot of difference. Then Rahu is also in the Sampat Tara from the moon's nakshatra. Then the Antardasha Lord Saturn is in the Vad Tara from the nakshatra of moon. So the Antardasha was very terrible here. It was in the Vad Tara. But in the previous example also, the Antardasha was in the Vad Tara, but it was under benefic influences. But in this case, Saturn is not in the benefic influence, and Saturn is also spoiling the planet Rahu, which is in a favorable nakshatra. That is why the Antardasha of Saturn did not give him good results. And if you make a dasha chart of planet Rahu, from here also you will see that there is no good yoga being formed. If you look at the chart, the ascendant Lord Saturn is sitting in the 7th house, in the Marak house, and it is being afflicted by Ketu and getting the aspect of retrograde Mars here. Mars is very damaging here. And then you see that the two planets, that is Sun, Mercury, and Moon, three planets, they are sitting in bad houses. Sun and Mercury. Sun is the significator of your fame, and Mercury is the significator of your education. They are being suffered in the period of Rahu. And Moon is the state of mind. It is also being suffered in the Mahadasha period of Rahu. So this period did give some indication that something related to these three planets will be a cause of suffering. So that indication we got. Then we can also construct the chart for the Antardasha of Saturn, which I have not made, but from here only we will see that if we make Saturn as the ascendant, from here the 6th house will have Mercury and Sun. It means during the Antardasha period of Saturn, Mercury, that is education, and Sun, that is prestige, will be at stake. So that is why in this period of Rahu Sun, the child suffered on account of these things. So if we look at the D9 chart, here also Rahu is debilitated and in the 6th house. So Rahu has made the chart 50% weak, and Saturn is in connection with Rahu, although Saturn is not in bad shape in the D9 chart, but it is making a connect with planet Rahu here. So it indeed got spoiled, and it was itself in adverse Tara. These are all things were the cause of some disaster for this child during this Mahadasha and Antardasha period. Now let's talk about the third example. So this is the chart of another native who was running the period of Jupiter Mercury, and this period was also a cause of disaster for him, because during this time he lost his younger sibling who was third to him, means the third child in the family. He was the eldest, and the third child in the family died during the period of Jupiter Mercury. Now let's understand how. So friends, the third child is seen through the 5th house. The first child is you, the second child is your third house, and the third child is your 5th house. So the period was Jupiter Mercury, and Jupiter is what? Jupiter is basically the Jeev, the native, and Mercury is your younger siblings also. So Jupiter and Mercury did make a connection. So in this case, Jupiter is the lord of the 2nd house and the 11th house. It means things related to the family, things related to the gains will come into focus. And Mercury is the lord of the 5th house of your younger siblings. A second younger sibling is sitting in the 9th house under the, you can say, conjunction of debilitated Sun and getting the aspect of debilitated Saturn. So it indeed caused some setback during this period. Now, if we look at the Dasha, Jupiter Dasha is the shame Dasha. It means it is related to the prosperity and the domestic life. So it should be good. But then it is in the Pratyari Tara, which is the unfavorable Tara. And Mercury is in the shame Tara, which is a favorable Tara. But because both of them are connected, so some disaster did happen during this time. So then we will make the Mahadasha chart of planet Jupiter, because both of them are together. So we can just make one chart and see what are the things which are being shown through the joint chart of both these planets, Jupiter and Mercury. So friends, I will just make this chart little bigger. So if you look at this, if you look at my cursor, you will see in the Jupiter Mahadasha and Mercury Antardasha chart, Moon and Mars. Mars is again your younger siblings, and Moon is your state of mind. They are sitting in the 12th house. It means these two significators did cause a setback to this native. And then the 5th lord here becomes Saturn. 5th house is having Rahu, and 5th lord Saturn is sitting debilitated in the 7th house. So it means this Mahadasha and Antardasha chart is also indicating towards some disaster coming through, coming to his younger sibling, and that is why all these things happened. And if we look at the Navamsha chart, here also you will see that Jupiter has gone to the 12th house. So the Mahadasha Lord itself is sitting in the 12th house with the affliction of Mars, and the Antardasha Lord Mercury is sitting in the 9th house with planet Sun and getting the aspect of Venus. So Mercury is being afflicted by the aspect of Venus here. So Mercury is not that weak here, but in the, you can say, Dasha chart of Jupiter and Mercury, the things became very clear and prominent. So this is how, friends, we will put together all these clues and we will try to understand the dasha results of the planets. So sometimes dashas are not clearly indicating a thing. In that case, making a dasha chart and understanding the chronology of the dasha sequence, and then understanding the nakshatra lordship of the planet will pave way to clarity of the events. So try to use these rules which I just told you, and you will come up with lots of confidence in the prediction of the dasha results. So I hope this video will be of some use to most of you. If you feel that this video has helped you in some way, please do hit the like button and share this video with your friends so that they can also gain something through my video. So stay connected, and very soon I will try to bring forth some more interesting topics for you. And until then, bye friends, and stay blessed, stay happy, stay protected.